Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel and to a brand new episode of Writing Wednesdays. Here's an essay question that we have from this week, so let's get started. Some people think that exercise is the key to health, while others feel that having a balanced diet is more important. To what extent do you agree? I'm going to go ahead and say I don't agree with this. I think this question, in fact, if you look at the phrasing, the question is incorrect. And this was a really good example for me to pick because one problem is that a lot of you will go online and search for IELTS questions, right, to practice with. And you come across questions that people who have taken the exam, they go online and then they post their question on the internet. Now, human memory is not perfect. And of course, they might remember some bits and pieces, but then it might not exactly be what they had in the exam paper. So the only questions that you can really trust are the ones that you find in the Cambridge books because those are appropriate. Now here the problem is that this formatting is wrong. Some people think that exercise is the key to health, while others feel that having a balanced diet is more important. This is presenting two different points of view, two different opinions. And normally you would have this be, the next sentence would be, discuss both views and give your own opinion. But here it says, to what extent do you agree? So that makes no sense because in order to agree, to ask someone if they agree, the previous sentence or statement would have to be a singular statement that a lot of people think that exercise is the key to health. To what extent do you agree? Now this makes perfect sense. But this does not make sense at all, not with this question. So this would then be discuss both views and give your own opinion. Because I know that this part, I'm pretty sure that the person who sent in this question remembered this fairly correctly. But this one, earlier it was to what extent do you agree, and that made no sense whatsoever. So we're going ahead with discuss both views and give your own opinion. In my expert view, this is now appropriate. So be careful when you look for questions online. We have tons of videos, so you can trust the questions in there. And of course, you have the IELTS Cambridge books. Those as well are trustworthy. All right, so let's get started. Because this is a discussion essay, of course, I need first my main ideas. I need to first figure out which side am I really on. I don't know why. Okay, I was trying to do Control Z. Okay, I was trying to, the bold and italics. Okay, there we go. Right, so which side am I really on? Do I think a diet is more important or do I think exercise is more important? I think that a diet is more important than exercise in terms of staying relatively healthy. So my first main idea is going to be the side that I don't really support, that I don't really agree with. I'm going to go ahead with exercise. Right, so regular exercise may play a role in good health. Oops, there we go. That's a main idea, short and simple. And then my next main idea, however, maintaining a healthy diet is of paramount importance. There we go. So there's my two main ideas. The next thing I need are 3 supporting ideas for each main idea that I have. Exercise is important. Body was made to move. Physical exercise is important. Muscle wastage is a thing. Wasting away is a thing. If you don't get movement, less movement usually tends to mean that you are at a higher weight, increased risk of disease. Okay, there's my 3 main ideas. And then you have nutrition. Body needs it to grow, to repair. Bad diets can cause illness, cancer, cardiovascular disease, etc. It's easier to control. It's easier to eat less calories than to burn them. Like 100 calories, it takes a long time to burn 100 calories, but if you simply ate less, so you cannot, like, for example, there's a famous saying that goes, you cannot outrun a bad diet. there's a really popular saying in fitness circles. So you cannot, no matter how much exercise you do, if your diet is bad, you're not going to be healthy. You're not going to be healthy if all you eat is processed food, but you still hit the gym 5 times a day. It's not going to help you. You'll look good, yes, but you won't really be healthy, right? Okay, so then I need an introduction. And what's the introduction? This is about health, so I'll write something about health. Despite a lot of research and development that goes into finding out more about human health, many people around the world are still terribly unhealthy. There we go. That's a nice broad sentence. And then, while working out may initially seem to be the most reasonable thing to do in order to be healthy, a good diet is ultimately, well, not ultimately, because I'm just starting my essay, so I don't want to say anything like finally, ultimately, etc. So, a good diet is far more likely to influence health outcomes. There we go. And that's my introduction. Now I'm going to have to check the word count just to be sure how much this is. As long as it's not under 40, then I'm in the safe zone. This is 55 words, so that's great. Then I have my main idea right here. Regular exercise may play a role in good health, largely due to the fact that the human body was made for physical movement and was not made to be sedentary, which is sadly the lifestyle most people have these days. This, in turn, this sort of a lifestyle can lead to a low movement, low workout lifestyle, can lead to issues like obesity and an increased risk of various types of diseases such as cardiovascular illness or diabetes. In fact, not working out or not getting enough exercise also leads to muscle wastage and can cause osteoporosis, especially in postmenopausal women. This is a big thing. Once you're like over 50, it's a big risk for women. So I'm getting exercise leads to muscle wastage, and can also, and might, I'm going to use weak motor version, might also cause osteoporosis, especially in postmenopausal women. Okay, I'm going to check can lead to, so this could be could, and increased risk, larger value which people have these days due to their work, right? Work and general lifestyle. Due to work. This sort of a low movement, low workout lifestyle could lead to issues like obesity and increases the various types of diseases such as cardiovascular illness or illnesses. There we go. Not getting enough exercise also leads to muscle wastage and might also cause osteoporosis, especially in postmenopausal women. Therefore, if people were to avoid exercise, they would likely experience issues in many aspects of their health. Okay, now I'm going to check the word count for this one. Okay, looks good. That's 111 words. And then I have my next idea. However, maintaining a healthy diet is of paramount importance. Most important factor to consider is that the human body needs nutrition, which exercise cannot provide. This nutrition derived from a good diet is what fuels and repairs the body, allowing it to continue working efficiently and fighting off disease. In fact, bad diets are what are responsible for most illnesses, including but not limited to heart disease and even cancer, which makes it all the more important for people to pay attention to what they eat, right? And then easier, ultimately, as the popular saying goes, one cannot outrun a bad diet. It is far easier to simply eat fewer calories than to burn the same calories by exercising. Thus, if people were to attentively tend to their diets, they would be healthier. There we go. Now this does look a bit lopsided, so I'm going to increase this a little bit. Exercise may play a role in good health. This is largely due to the fact that the human body was created for physical movement, for regular physical movement, and was not made to be sedentary, which is sadly the lifestyle most people have these days due to work and other factors. This sort of a low movement, no workout lifestyle could lead to issues like, or I'd rather use such as, obesity and an increased risk of various types of illnesses such as cardiovascular disease or diabetes. In fact, not getting enough exercise also leads to muscle wastage and might cause osteoporosis, especially muscle wastage. What else? Not getting enough exercise also leads to osteoporosis, especially in postmenopausal women. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now that's much better. Then I finally have to write my conclusion. So I start with, in conclusion, it is evident that although exercise might play a limited role in well-being, a person's diet is ultimately what determines ultimately, because I'm at the end of my essay, right? How healthy they are. If people simply prioritized working out and did not pay attention to their dietary intake, they might look good, but would not necessarily be healthy on the inside. There we go. So that's our conclusion. Now let's check the size of the entire essay. I'm going to take that, put that into the word counter we have here. Okay. So this is 352 words. There we go. So there's your first paragraph, the introduction. Then you have the second paragraph, which is the first body paragraph. Then you have the second body paragraph right here. And finally, you have the conclusion right here. So there we go. That was our essay, and we managed to do that in less than 15 minutes. Isn't that amazing? You can really easily create good and high quality essays. All you really need to know is a couple of basics and have the right kind of training. In fact, we have a lot of videos for task 2 and task 1 and speaking as well. So don't forget to check those out. And in case you are still struggling with IELTS preparation, you really don't have to. Make it easy for yourself and just hit us up, call me or text me. My number is right there on the screen, and we have batches that start every Monday. So hopefully I'll teach you soon. Until then, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.